Welcome back to the Weber Kettle series brought to you by Fogo Charcoal here on Chuds BBQ, everybody. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today we're cooking up some beef dino ribs on the Weber Kettle. Coming up! These are some beef ribs. What a beautiful cut. Just look at that marbling. This is a cut that I definitely recommend for all beginners, because while it may seem like a super intimidating cook, it really is one of the easier things to cook to perfection on any barbecue pit. There's very little butchery or trimming involved, and because of all the intramuscular fat and collagen, it's incredibly forgiving and not as hard to make perfect as something like a brisket, where you really need to nail that bark and the perfect texture and tenderness. These always come out great. Not to mention, they're the perfect size for the Weber Kettle. And you just get that wow factor, you know? Whenever you slice into a big old beef rib on the bone, you get that nice smoke ring, tender meat, and it's a great way to have a win early on in your barbecue career. I got these ribs courtesy from my friends over at Porter Road, so if you can't find dino ribs at your local grocery store, that's a great place to go about getting them. And these are great because they are nicely marbled and they're dry aged, which is awesome. But sometimes when you get dino ribs, they're gonna come with this flat meat right on top, and I like to take that off. And that's just because it's fat, meat, then fat. So when this bottom fat starts to render, this will kind of curl up because it's so thin. It'll want to slide off, and it'll mess up your presentation a little bit, and it won't be as tender as all this meat. So I'm gonna take that off really quick. Peels up most of the time. And this isn't all that common. When I get dino ribs from the grocery store, this is usually removed, but it's really easy to take off. It wants to separate naturally. And there we go. Great little snack. Throw that on the grill. Now from here, these are ready to go on the pit. You can also remove this fat cap if you like. There is some silver skin under there, so there is a benefit to taking it off. You're also gonna have better salt penetration into the meat, but it's not entirely necessary, so I'm gonna leave it on today. But I am gonna take this fat cap down just a little bit. Any of these scraggly bits, just kind of make it look a little prettier. And there's usually one side that is got a big chunk of fat on it, so I'm gonna take that down a little bit as well. Fat cap is nice. It's gonna render out pretty well. It's pretty thin. It's a lot like a brisket. Having a fat cap is nice, really helps the bark out quite a bit, and make sure you're not going to dry out your top too much. And there we have it, a beautiful looking rack of some beef short ribs, often sold as dino ribs, plate ribs, short ribs. The ones with 3 bones is what you're looking for. They also sell chuck ribs, which are from a different set of ribs. They're also really great. They're a little bit thinner, not nearly as big as these short plate ribs. So if you're really going for that classic barbecue dinosaur rib, these are the ones you're looking for. They have a membrane on the back. I'm gonna leave that on, just because when we're cooking these to super tenderness, that membrane's gonna help keep everything together, make sure the bones don't fall out. Also, there's a lot of fat under there, so the membrane's gonna keep that in and kind of confit it from the bottom. But all that being said, I think it's time to season these up. For our rub, I'm gonna go in with my typical beef rub when it comes to barbecue, which is 2 parts 16 mesh black pepper, 1 part diamond crystal kosher salt, and 1/2 part granulated garlic. Oh, get that nice and mixed up. And whenever I make this rub, someone in the comments always gets confused and asks me, how much is a part? Is it a tablespoon? So to clear it up, this is 2 parts pepper, 1 part salt, 1/2 part garlic, volumetrically. So a part is any measurement you want. If it's a tablespoon, it'd be 2 tablespoons pepper, 1 salt, 1/2 garlic. For me, I use these ramekins. This is like a 4-ouncer or something like that. So it's 2 of those, 1 salt, 1/2 garlic. You get the point. So that way you can make as big a batch or as small a batch as you need. And because it's such a pepper heavy rub, we can really go on with quite a bit without worrying about over salting anything. And you really don't need to season the backside, because we're most likely not going to be eating this membrane. But I figure, hey, while I'm here, might as well. I'm also not using a binder because these are pretty tacky right out of the cryovac, and as you can see, that pepper and rub sticks on just fine without it. But again, you do you. You can do whatever you want. A little mustard slather will work just fine. So going on with a nice heavy coat of our rub, and please folks, don't forget the sides. Rookie move. And there we go, looking good to me. Let's fire up the Weber. Going in with some Fogo Premium Lump Charcoal. That's the black bag. This stuff is great because it's got some good chunks in there, but nothing too big. Get one of their little Fogo fire starters lit. Love those things. And what we're gonna do is let this side catch. Once it gets to about here, that's when we'll throw the beef ribs on, and it'll slowly burn this way. Or we should have a good few hours of some nice low and slow heat. Ow! Right in the eye. Probably should have done that first. All right, and on we go with our beautiful beef ribs. I'm gonna aim this thicker side towards the coals, scoot this back a little bit. That water pan's gonna provide a nice barrier. And I've also got the cast iron insert in there to help direct airflow and improve thermal mass. And now to find out if this thing is up to temp. As always, folks, vents above the meat. That way airflow can kind of come up and over the meat and out the chute, as opposed to just shooting straight up. How cute. As you can see, we're rocking right around 300 degrees, which is pretty good. Little hot, but it'll do. Anywhere between 275 and 300 is where I'm aiming for this cook. So now I'm gonna go in with some little wood chunks to give us some smoke periodically throughout this smoke. I'm also gonna go on with some of this fat that we trimmed off here and there. Give us some of that fat smoke, get that kind of nice charbroiled flavor here and there. Why not? Alrighty, I'm gonna shut this lid down a little bit so it sits closer to around 275, but we got some nice smoke coming out, plenty of charcoal for the next few hours. So I'll check back in a little bit. About 3 hours into this beef rib cook, and let's see how they are looking. Ooh, got some lovely pullback already. That's pretty intense. Not gonna be much meat on this bone, but these ones are gonna be extra thick. Nothing wrong with that. But bark is looking good, feeling nice and tender. Getting a little crispy up top. I didn't expect this to get so tall. And looks like we are out of water. Fill that right back up. Still got plenty of coals in there. This thing has been holding temps very nicely, but because it's starting to look a little crispy, I'm gonna go in with some apple cider vinegar and just give this a little spritzy poo here. Just on these crispy bits, make sure nothing gets too burnt up. But other than that, we are just gonna maintain temps and check back in. So I just came out here because I noticed my temps were starting to dip below 200. Give it a routine check. Looking beautiful, by the way. But to my utter shock, these beef ribs are done. They are probing tender, like melted butter, the way a beef rib ought to. Reading right around 200 degrees internal temp. And I'm just kind of blown away. It doesn't make sense. I was expecting this to be an 8-hour cook, but here we are at hour 5, just with meat jello already. Even this end piece, super soft, ready to go. I can't believe it. I was expecting this cook to go for another 4 hours, but these are really hot and they're coming off the pit. So, I mean, the bark is there and we're just to the end of our charcoal pile, which is great. So that means if you get a rack of ribs about this size, you can cook them in one slow and sear worth of charcoal and get some beautiful, squishy, tender beef ribs. So I'm gonna pull these off, let them rest for about 30 minutes or so, or until they read an internal temp of around 145, 150, and then we're gonna slice on in. I mean, would you just look at it, folks? Nice and tender all the way through. Unbelievable. I gotta tell you, folks, I have cooked a lot of beef ribs in my day, and this is by far the easiest cook I have ever had. You gotta love it when a barbecue cook takes half as much time as you were expecting. Every time I do a beef rib cook, I slot away at least 8 hours for these things to come up. You got the bone in there, that's gonna add some thermal mass, and it's got all that collagen in there that really needs to break down. So the fact that these were done in 5 hours is mind-blowing. And so far, it's checking every box. It's barky, it looks nice and smoky, feeling nice and tender. And again, whenever you're trying to get these off the pit, what you're trying to do is just make sure you're going right to the bone and it feels tender. That's why beef ribs are so awesome. They're super forgiving because it's not like brisket where it needs to hit that certain tenderness and then rest to the perfect amount and then break down low and slow nearly as much with these where you're just going for pure tenderness. And also if you go between the bones, we can test out that bottom membrane that we left on, and if that pokes through, then you know you're in a good spot. But these are feeling like butter, which is exactly what we're looking for. So without further ado, I think it's time to slice on in. We'll start by zipping off this little nubbins at the end here. Ooh, not much to say for this beef rib. These are the ones we're really after. And I gotta say, they're looking good. Beautiful smoke ring, nice and squishy. Do our best to aim between the bones. Yeah. And there we have it, some beautiful looking beef ribs off the Weber Kettle. That is looking real nice. Ooh. This guy, same deal. Beautiful smoke ring on there, nice and crusty bark, squishy, tender, rendered. I gotta take a bite. Oh my God. Oh, that is so good. So juicy. Yeah, I can tell you right now, folks. Salt is there, crust is there, smoke is there. Nice and juicy, nice and rendered. Look at this thing, it's dripping. Unbelievable tenderness. Oh, that is really good. I mean, what more in life do you need than that, folks? Oh, so good. Oh, unbelievable. For this one, let's take the bone out. Comes out nice and easy. Now you got this beautiful chunk. It's like a whole thing of brisket burn ends right here. I mean, who wouldn't want that little morsel? Nice crunchy bark on there. Incredibly squishy, tender meat. Come on, folks. I mean, just bleh. Oh my God, it's so good. Yep, it's tender, it's smoky, it's salty. And it only took 5 hours. Unbelievable. I need someone else to give this a try. Get yourself some Porter Road ribs and put them on the Weber Kettle with some Fogo Charcoal and tell me if it takes you the same amount of time. Because if I can produce results like this in 5 hours on the Weber Kettle, I'm never gonna cook beef ribs on an offset ever again. So good. They did shrink up quite a bit. The amount of bone pullback was pretty intense. Smoky, barky deliciousness. Don't mind if I do. Oh. One of the best bites of barbecue, I tell you what. The bark is incredible. You definitely want to leave that fat on. I've taken it off before because sometimes these can get a little too rich, but I don't know. Today, these are just hitting right. This was a quick, delicious cook to pure, tender, fatty, delicious barbecue. What more do you need in life than that, folks? I think it's time for the official taste test. Hey. If you've got a Weber Kettle, this cook is a no-brainer. There's no trimming, no fancy rubs, no slathers, no resting. It truly is one of the easiest cooks I have ever done. Not to mention, this is probably the cheapest way to produce an amazing rack of barbecue beef ribs. When you consider the cost of the smoker and the fact that I used 1/2 of the smallest piece of oak in my pile to get these results, unbeatable. But with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like on this video. Drop a comment down below letting me know what you want to see me cook next. If you do give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to Fogo Charcoal. Thank you for sponsoring the Weber Kettle series. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace.